All right, want to welcome you guys officially to uh, tonight's live session. Want to apologize for last week's. Want to apologize for last week's class that we didn't get a chance to have. I was in Ocho Rios and a well-deserved on a break, and so the internet was just so crappy that even though I was prepared to do live from there, the internet wouldn't allow me to do so. So, but this week has been a very challenging week. I really just wanted to pretty much go through the lessons, last week lesson, this week lesson. But I first of all wanted to quickly get a feedback because we've been having some glitches with our, our online platform, Moodle. And that has forced me to move over to Google Classroom in an effort to ensure that everybody is on, because even though we have students, some persons were not able to get access to the content. And so I was trying my utmost best to resolve that, and it wasn't being resolved, so we had to move over. So let me find out from persons, those of you, what is your feel? What is your feedback from the Google Classroom? Is it easier? Is it easier to navigate? You know?
Hello, Dr. Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, sorry, I'm just popping in because I'm driving. But I feel like Moodle was a little easier. It seems like it takes some extra steps with this platform. But okay. I understand why you had to switch it.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to it. I just didn't want to be fixing it at the expense of persons who didn't have time. I'm definitely gonna go back to it because there's a lot more features than Google Class. But just wanted something that was that is working and working for everybody. I know a lot of persons are not tech savvy, so I might have to find out who those persons are and do a little one-on-one with them. But for the most part, for me, and based on what I'm saying, it's a lot more self-explanatory. Is that the experience that most persons are having? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Angela says that it's for her, Moodle was more user friendly. All right. So that's Angela. Anybody else?
People. That's the one there.
Anybody else? You can just go ahead and unmute yourself. Prince, Tonya, Aquavius, what's your perspective on Moodle versus Google Class that we're now using?
I like the Moodle. I don't know, maybe it's just because that's what we started using first and I just got used to it, but I think it worked pretty well. I didn't have any issues with it. The Google seems okay, but I think I'm kind of like Angela. I think I kind of like the Moodle better, but either one I can work with.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so I don't get the feeling that anybody's having much issue there. All right, so and if you're having, just let me know. All right, so let's go back to last week's class, Unit 2. Was there anything in Unit 2 that wanted clarifications on?
Good to know, especially learning that she was out about the same time as Florence Nightingale. I thought that was just very interesting. I had never heard her name before. So.
Okay, so right, so you've never heard about yeah, a lot of persons I've heard about Florence Nightingale, and when you look at the work that this woman has done, there are still a lot of Jamaicans who don't know her name. And I believe that the work that she has done would make her equivalent to like our Jamaican Louise Bennett. What Louise Bennett did for the Jamaican language is what she did for herbal medicine. But somehow that knowledge has been suppressed. I mean, when you think about what she has achieved, if you want to put it in context, when you look at what Florence Nightingale achieved in that era, being a Black woman, to be recognized by the Queen, that was no ordinary feat. When you think about a Black woman in a society like England, where not only there is racism, but there is sexism, I mean, for the recognition that she got, that was no mere feat. And she did that using natural medicine. I mean, it's strange how Jamaica as a country has not capitalized on that. I believe that she should have been the ambassador for herbal medicine. And I believe that her work and the contribution that she has made needs to be more recognized, because it wasn't that what she did was just something cultural. She literally saved a lot of lives. And she also, as a woman, showed phenomenal entrepreneurial skills. I mean, when you think about a woman, she should be a model to our young girls, because not only did she excel in the use of natural medicine, she also was a phenomenal entrepreneur, and she was coming from humbling beginnings. She did this at a time and in an era when women were not appreciated or valued any at all. So I believe that more needs to be done to recognize her work and to show and to appreciate her work. There's no museum. There's a statue at the University of the West Indies, and 90% of those on the university campus don't know who she is. February is Black History Month, and during Black History Month, nothing much is done to showcase the work of this woman. Nothing much is done. Anybody else? All right. In terms of because when you look at also Florence Nightingale. Oh, I see. Oh, Aquivus. Okay, your mic isn't working. All right. Prince, did you watch the video?
No, I wasn't able to do it.
Okay. Come on, it's a phenomenal video. And I definitely, it is something because for us to see, and I believe one of the reasons why she hasn't been recognized is because of fear of any positive repercussions coming from pursuing natural medicine. I believe that if she was positively showcased, if her contribution was positively oh, you shared it with your wife and kids. So her story was amazing. I shared it with my wife and kids. Yeah. If the work of this woman was showcased, I believe that there's a fear of the positive repercussions, because then it would be projecting natural medicine in a positive light. And I don't think Western medicine wants to project natural medicine positively with the work that they have done to suppress natural medicine in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, I'm sure they don't want to do anything to provoke a positive outlook on natural medicine. And so one of the reasons why I added that to the course is because it is our responsibility. Because here we have somebody whose contribution was positive and whose contribution impacted the world. If this was one woman, doing it. Imagine if you had 5 more Florence Nightingale or 10 more Florence Nightingale. Imagine the impact that would be, that would make on the world. So I believe that it's important for us to showcase her story. It's important for us to remind persons about her and the work that she has done. It's very important that we do that. And when you look at modern medicine has not forgotten her counterpart. As a matter of fact, she is considered to be the mother of nursing. So the mother of nursing is attributed to this woman who, I believe, her most significant work was as it relates to administration and as it relates to the following the protocols of hygiene. But in terms of helping persons, in terms of saving lives, and especially against all odds, against the odds that were, Florence Nightingale did a phenomenal job. And as I said, I believe it's our job, even in this Black History Month, there's nothing being done to celebrate that and to remind Jamaica of the great work of this phenomenal woman. All right, Peace, did you watch the video on Florence Nightingale?
Yeah, I watched it, but I didn't finish it because we have lots of network issues here.
Oh, the network, okay, the network is giving a problem.
Yeah.
All right, but based on what you've watched so far, what's your feedback?
Okay, my feedback on that is that Mary Seacole made sure that she made use of the talent she got from her mother about natural medicine to rescue a lot of people that needed her help, and then she never hid her talents or her love. She was so enthusiastic about using natural medicine to reach out to people, and that made her to stand out of the crowd among natural medicine practitioners. And then, being a woman she is, people really applauded her for her efforts so far, and that made her stand out. That was the extent I watched so far.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, man. So as I said that when we look at the work that she has done, and when we look at the contributions that she has made, and because of this, I have a great respect for women, because women are natural healers, because women are natural nurturers. You're more instinctively driven, and so because of that, for men, we're not so natural in terms of instinctively being able to connect with people emotionally and being able to connect to certain things. But for women, it's much more easier. And healing really is a feminine energy. Healing is a feminine energy. So it's amazing how she was able to do all of what she did at a time when not only was she a woman, she was a Black woman. So in terms of being an example of an indomitable woman, in terms of being an example of a woman that went against the odds, because now in our time, in her time, she achieved so much, as I said, not only was she a woman, she was a Black woman. And to reach the level where she is recognized by the Queen, that says volumes. And she did that using herbs and natural home remedies, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So that's always a very phenomenal lesson for me. I've watched the video so many times, and I'm proud of her work, and there are so many more like her that are doing, and that just shows us, you know, the legacy that we have to follow as it relates to what we can do in this pandemic that we're in, and there's going to be many more. As I said, in the next 10 years, the greatest challenge of any nation is going to be food security, and it's going to be medicine security. And when somebody goes into a form of medicine where the raw material is plants, we are going to see, we saw from the pandemic, we saw that again, you know, even though Jamaica and other Caribbean and other poor countries had treaties, international treaties, that should have protected them from hoarding medicine, that did not prevent wealthy nations from hoarding the medicines for themselves, well, quote unquote medicine, for themselves. In other words, if this was something that would really would have saved lives, some countries would have little to no mortality, and some countries would have huge figures. And I think coming out of that, one of the lessons that we should learn is that we have to equip ourselves to take care of ourselves. And when you look at a medicinal system that has been around for thousands of years, that has been the only means of healthcare in terms of preserving and taking care of cultures, I believe that we should protect that. And you know, even for a country like Jamaica, what we should be doing is embarking on a project to study, to better understand, to develop, to preserve, and to protect that which has kept us alive up until now. I believe that it's important. And if our government, a lot of people always talk about the government, but what I'm saying is, if our government does not do that, if our government doesn't have the vision to do that, then we should have the vision to do that. When we were in slavery, it wasn't the government who said that it was time for us to gain independence. It were the grassroots people who fought for independence. And so most of the achievements and most of the privileges that we have in life now were never achieved through visionaries in government or visionaries in politics. It was achieved through ordinary persons like me and you who said, we're not going to depend on the government to do this. This is something that we need to do, and we're going to take the bull by its horn, and we're going to pursue it. And so in the next 10 years, as I said, food and medicine is going to be the greatest challenge. And so when we arm ourselves and when we equip ourselves with the tools to be able to take care of ourselves health-wise by acquiring the knowledge and acquiring the skills to use what our ancestors used to take care of themselves, I believe it puts us at a severe advantage, and it will put us in a better position to be able to protect ourselves and our children. All right, so that was Unit 2. Unit 3 spoke about herbalism and its practice in Jamaica and the Caribbean. That was an article. I don't know how many persons read that, but I'd love to get some feedback if there's any questions from that. But before we go, were there any issues or any questions on Unit 2, Mary Sequel? Yes, Ron.
No questions, but I still am to complete Unit 3. after the due date, would I still be able to send it in?
The 29th?
Oh, I have to the 29th of February to submit unit 3 as well?
No, that was for the first 2 units. That wouldn't be applicable to unit 3, only unit 1 and 2.
Okay, so unit 3 is still due by tomorrow.
Really tonight.
Okay, because it says due tomorrow. So
All right,
mine still
yeah.
has to
Yeah,
be
it's due tomorrow.
completed.
Yeah, I think I gave additional day for tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so I still have to upload unit 1 and 2 to the Google Classroom then?
You have until the 29th to do that. So don't rush that. And you have
Okay.
time until the 29th to do that.
Yeah.
Focus on the current ones because you have until the end of the month to do unit 1 and 2.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Yep. So I see more persons on. Any feedback, guys? Who is that? Ruth, did you get a chance to look on unit 2? Did you get a chance to read the article for unit 3?
No,
Okay.
I'm yet to submit my assignments on unit 2.
You did what? You did what?
I said I'm yet to submit assignments on unit 2. I hope it's not late.
No, you have until the 29th. For unit 1 and unit 2, you have until the 29th, which is the last Sunday in February, to submit those. So just focus on
I've submitted unit 1, it's just unit 2.
which platform did you use to submit unit 1? Was it on the Moodle or was it on the?
Yeah,
Can
on
we
the
ask
Moodle.
persons to resubmit them on the Google Classroom?
Oh,
So if you submitted it on Moodle, then we ask you to resubmit it on the new platform so that all the grades will be over here on this platform. And then the reason why I gave you until the 29th is because I believe I gave a rubric which gives a clearer, that gives clearer instruction. So I gave additional time so that persons could review their work to ensure that it met the rubric requirements.
okay.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Good. So what about the traditional knowledge system? Did you get a chance to read that?
Not yet.
Okay. Because that basically gives insight on the medicinal system of Jamaica. Now, I should say, and we spoke to it last week, there's what we call, most traditional medicine is what we call either spirit medicine, plant spirit medicine, or sacred medicine. So most traditional medicine practice usually is practiced in addition to the spiritual belief of that particular culture. So it is usually called sacred medicine or plant spirit medicine. And so that was what the earliest practice of medicine in Jamaica is out of plant, is out, because remember that herbal medicine in Jamaica predominantly has its root in African medicine, because a lot of the medicine that was practiced in Jamaica were mostly from the slaves. So it was either, so because of that, it would have the sacred medicine component in it from Africa, or it would have had the spirit medicine component from Africa. And what we do call it now, in Jamaica, the epicenter of herbal medicine was from St. Thomas to Portland down to St. Mary. As a matter of fact, herbal medicine, the concentration of herbal medicine was from St. Thomas, and as it moved further to the west of the island, it diminishes in terms of its practice and the concentration of its practice. Right? So even years after, you will find that the descendants of herbal medicine, the root of it is really in St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne. By the time it reaches to St. James, it's very diluted. So a lot of the persons in that part of the island who needed healing would come to this side of the island, to Nani and to other skillful practitioners. This is where they would come to get their medicines. Because one of the reasons for that is because a lot of the slaves that were captured to practice to practice African medicine, the plantation owners in St. Thomas and Portland and this part of Jamaica realized that all slaves were not equal. Peace is here. Peace is from you're in Nigeria, right? Peace? Yeah, you're in Nigeria. And a lot of the slaves that were captured on the coast of Africa. And so as they were captured, a lot of them were the children of shaman, or they were the children of priests or high priestess. And so some of them are also priestess within themselves. As a matter of fact, it is strongly believed that Nani was a high priestess. Queen Nani was a high priestess. So within her herbal practice was her spirit medicine or her sacred medicine. And so a lot of the children of these descendants came with that knowledge. And so the reason, because of that now, there's a strong concentration of those descendants in St. Thomas, which is why when you talk about practitioners of witchcraft and so on and so forth, you know, quote unquote, Obi, not witchcraft, but quote unquote, Obi or African ancestral medicine, you will find a higher concentration in St. Thomas, then Portland, then St. Mary, going all the way down to St. James. But the highest concentration is going to be in St. Thomas and Portland. So what you're going to find from the reading also is that Jamaica has benefited from not only African medicine, but Jamaican and Caribbean medicine is really a melting pot of the traditional medicine forms from the colonizers, as well as other cultures as well. So you have the Mexicans, you have the Tainos, you have the Arawaks, so you have the Amerindians, you have the Europeans, you have the Africans. Jamaica and the Caribbean is really a melting pot. Our medicine, our traditional medicine, or our indigenous medicine is a melting pot of Amerindians, Europeans, and Africans, which is a very unique blend. Unlike anywhere else in the world, the Caribbean has a blend of practice, which is unlike anywhere else. Because as these colonizers came and brought their medicines, brought their plants, that knowledge, as we interbreeded among ourselves and as we became one people, one nation, that knowledge became one with us as well. And so when we talk about patois, when we talk about the language of Jamaica, Jamaica is truly not just a nation. It's not just defined by our food. It's not just defined by our language, but it is also defined by the medicine that we practice as a people. All right. Anybody have anything that they want to share based on the reading? Unit 3, traditional knowledge systems and the role of traditional medicine in Jamaica. Nobody has anything to share? All right, no problem. As I said, and anybody have any question? That's what tonight is for. It's just questions and feedback from the readings or from the different viewing assignments. All right, good. All right, so yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask, from your question, from what you're asking now, does it mean that we can go ahead and read any unit at all as to equip ourselves? Because I was just following everything unit by unit. So does it mean we can just go ahead and read any unit at all?
No, man, because only the present units are open. Remember, only the present units are open. So we are now on unit 3 going on unit 4 tonight.
Okay.
So you won't be able to read any unit. You will only have the previous units and the present units. The future units are not open for you to see them. They are open timely on a weekly basis.
Oh,
Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Attila.
Yes. So I had a comment on the article for Unit 3. I found it interesting that basically the article seems to be like a call to action, and it emphasizes how critical it is to document this traditional knowledge system in order for the country of Jamaica to advance and to place itself competitively globally when it comes to plant medicine, so that there's an equitable advancement of I guess a more equitable advancement for Jamaicans rather than what's happening right now. So it just basically describes the history of where of the use of plant medicines, where the knowledge base is derived from, like you were saying. But at the back end of the article, it's basically saying that I got the sense that even though right now there are people, there are entities within Jamaica that are capitalizing off of this knowledge system, this traditional knowledge system. Not everyone is, and until there's like until what the history has been documented well enough, and current practices have been documented well enough, then there's gonna this inequity in those who are able to progress with I guess this global trend is going to remain. That's what I came away from the article with.
Wonderful. And that is the difference that we make. Starting tonight in the lessons tonight, basically what you're going to see now is what we have done, what I've done and what we are going to be doing is basically categorizing for the first time. I don't know. I'm sure this has never been done for the first time in the history of Jamaica and the Caribbean. And what we are doing, peace, if you pay careful attention, you can do it for Africa, because even though African medicine is very old, this has not been done for African medicine as well. So what the course is basically teaching you to do, starting from tonight, because tonight we'll be looking at the tonight's class, we're going to be looking at the integumentary system, which is the skin and all of the organs related to that. Starting tonight into the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you now how herbal actions are tied to to the 12 major systems of the body. Right? So that's one of the first thing you need to understand. So there are 12 major systems that govern the body. And these 12 major systems have corresponding herbal action. So for example, tonight we're going to be looking at the integumentary system, and we're going to be looking at diaphoretics. And what are diaphoretics? Herbal properties and which body system they have a greater affinity to. So we're going to go through that, and we're going to go because what we're also doing is that because this is indigenous Caribbean medicine or indigenous medicine, we are basically immersing ourselves in the technology that our ancestors had that allow them to build the type of systems, not just even healthcare, as they studied nature, they were able to build navigation systems. They were able to build sophisticated architectural systems. But not only that, they were also able to build sophisticated healing systems. And so that knowledge, you start to make sense of that. And we're gonna follow that, go all the way through to the pharmacology of plants. In a time and in an era when herbal practitioners did not have microscopes, they didn't have testing labs, how were they able to so successfully build the healthcare system that they had? In order to understand that, you will have to immerse yourself in the technology that they had. And they had amazing technologies. Our ancestors were able to utilize the 5 senses, and they were able to use that to detect the medicinal qualities of plants. They were able to distinguish plants that had definitive therapeutic properties. Those are the things that you're going to be learning in the course. And we're also going to be showing persons how those tools that they had then, how it is confirmed by modern science, and how modern science, basically the role that modern science plays in confirming those tools. Some of the things that our ancestors were able to do, modern science can't explain it. They're still baffled. But they were able to pay attention, and because they were able to pay attention to nature. And as I said, that if there's anything that you need to be able to do to become a practitioner of natural medicine, number one of the things that you need to do is you have to be able to observe. Our ancestors were very keen on observing. And because they were very keen on observing, they were able to identify certain patterns. And as they studied those patterns that they observed, they learned principles from those patterns. And they were able to take those principles and apply them very wisely in achieving phenomenal results. And so you'll get a sense of what those tools are, you'll get a sense of what those wisdom were, and you'll be able to see, learn how to apply them and to see how they apply them like that. But so tonight's lesson, we're going to be going into, we're going to start to go into the meat of the matter. We're going to start looking at the properties of herbs, because one thing you need to understand, just like how the planets, there are 12 constellations that govern the universe. There are 12 organs that govern the human body. And those 12 organs that govern the human bodies are, they are impacted by the properties of certain herbs. And when you are able to identify which herbal property has the greatest impact on a particular body system, then you have begun the journey in being able to utilize herbs to help persons. All right, so look out for that lesson. It comes out tonight. But just remember, you have time to finish lesson 1, lesson 2. You have until the last Sunday in February to do that. focus on your present lesson. And if you do that, everything will be all right. All right. So it's now 7:30, and I should be getting ready for my next group. So if you didn't get this entire presentation, it's recorded and it will be posted by tomorrow in the group for you to watch it in its entirety. If you have any questions, guys, please reach out to me in the group, and I'll do my utmost best to resolve it. So until next time, until next week, have a wonderful evening, and please take care of yourself. All right, guys?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a good
you.
Okay,
night.
bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
night.
you.